It's rigged, it's rigged. System built to class. Pawns in the game got me caught up in the trash. 1600, yeah, scheming all about the rents. Power in the game got me standing in the trench. It's rigged, it's rigged. Power in the game, yeah. Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate. No, you can't escape the fate. 1600, yeah, got me running from the stage. Breaking from the cage, now they about to feel my rage. Stepping through the circus where the clowns wear the crowns. Marble halls, power calls, and the truth get drowned. 1600 epicenter where they got them scams. Shake your hand, give you a smile, it's another scam. Spitting venom, pins a weapon, dissecting deception. Every election's a selection, rigged by perfection. They pull the levers, move the gears, and make the masses blind. Feed your tears and your fears, keep the trap in line. Secret Service get you whacked, that's a casualty. Oval Office double cross, that's the strategy. Paint the picture, hang it up, yeah, for the sheet. I'm awake, stop the hate, let the real one speak. It's rigged, it's rigged. System built to class. Pawns in the game got me caught up in the trap. 1600, yeah, scheming all about the rents. Power in the game got me standing in the trench. It's rigged, it's rigged. Power in the game. Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate. No, you can't escape the fate. 1600, yeah, got me running from the stage. Breaking from the cage, now they about to feel my rage. Back up in the lab, crafting bars like a chemist. Every word I say's a missile, aim it at my menace. Rewrite the history, spin it like a fable. Cut the cable, cut the label, flip the whole damn table. I'ma keep on rapping, scream it all through the static. While they traffic in the panic, I'ma make it tragic. 1600 where the vultures circle real low. Selling hope, but the rope's tied around your throat. Surgical with the blood scalpel to the lies. Peeling back the curtain, see the devil in disguise. Yeah, see the devil rigged. Yeah, see the devil rigged. It's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged. System built for class. Pawns in the game got me caught up in the trap. 1600, yeah, scheming all
Why y'all don't come up with clever lines like that?
The game got me standing in the trap. It's rigged.
All right, let's get this show started, ladies and gentlemen. So we can get up out of here. It doesn't take long to do the Lord's work when you're tapped in like I am. Him like Michael Jordan in the fourth quarter. You know, you got to be tapped in like Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? Y'all like that picture you did of Donald Trump?
It's like every week I gotta take out the trash. I'm on top of my game,
Ahead of the class.
You can tell that I made it. Look at the grass.
I see.
Falls in the garage, the tanks full of
I'm the
gas. I
Rizzler,
play the game so well, I won't finish last. Sitting in my living room, screaming how we made it. This is how it's supposed to happen
when you're rich and famous.
The algorithm
I want to be rich. You know, I'm cool doing what I'm doing right now. I got all these
numbers on my spreadsheet.
Yes.
Benjamin fucking is my last D. And if they use my ex, let me
Hey, for me, I get it. Let's go. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm cool being Triple A.
With my trust because I'm needed. Got a lot of confidence and I'm conceited.
Hey, it's all me the master with a new whip. I'ma take off. Oh, here goes. Zeus haters.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone into Zeus's live in a couple of days. Shit was radical.
Keep it clean, man.
It was horrible. I'm like, Zeus has gone way off the rails.
Oh, they always say that. I'm not in the Epstein files.
It's like deja vu.
I'm not in the Epstein files.
It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu.
All right, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we're back in the Thunderdome. I'm your host, I'm your pilot, and once again, we're here to make some amazing content together, all right? But the thing is, I'm the host, and I am the pilot, but all of you are part of that experience, all right? So before we get started, let's take care of some very important housekeeping items. If this is your first time tuning in, you might want to tap the screen, share the live. Make sure you share it to anyone that you know is still worshiping Donald Trump, because we take no prisoners over here. Because what we do is special. What we do is we hold Donald Trump and his supporters accountable for their dirty, disgusting, filthy deeds as well as their crimes, right? And, you know, there's more to that, but I'll get some of the housekeeping items taken care of. So, like I was saying earlier, it's your first time listening to me. I go by the name Zeus, or as some like to say, Triple H, Lie Nielsen. I'm embarrassing myself. I haven't even got started. I haven't even turned the stove on yet. You're already triggered. Yeah, and why do they call me Triple H, ladies and gentlemen? It was quite simple. The first H is because I'm honest. I'm the most honest person on social media. There's nobody more honest than me. Listen, if I get it wrong, I'll be the first to apologize. But here's the thing. Just because your feelings get hurt doesn't mean that I owe you an apology. Most likely it needs you need to sit your special behind down, right? So the first H is because I'm honest, right? Most honest. Second H is because I'm the most humble. And then the last and the final H, ladies and gentlemen, which is arguably one of the most important H's of them all, and you can ask anyone, no matter what side of the aisle they're on, when they see it and they know it's true, it is truly because I am and will always remain, you've guessed it, the most handsome. I woke up like that. I woke up like this. Like I was saying earlier, yes, make sure you tap the screen and share the live. Thank you. I've been doing this for years. What I do is sensational in a way. It's diabolical. It's magical. It's theatrical. It's definitely top tier. I have the ability, it's a secret special power, honestly, to zone in, laser focus on the MAGA demon that is possessing a lot of Americans, unfortunately, right? And this MAGA demon causes them to do things like go inside of a voting booth and totally nuke themselves, right? And so we call the MAGA demon out, and we use the name MAGA demon because that's how you got to speak to the demon. I don't know what their username is, but 100% of the time it's the MAGA demon, right? And we hold a mirror up to them and we show them who they are. We show them who their daddy is. This is their daddy right here. God knows where his face has been, considering all the information that we've just gotten from those Trump files, right? And we do this in an effort to try to save this great country of ours, all right? And this is difficult work. It's tough work. But, if you've been looking at the special elections that have been happening all over the country, you see that it's work like this, not just me, but there's several other amazing content creators every day getting up here. And you in the comments especially, pushing back against the lies and the misinformation and the disinformation, right? And so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I must give everyone a heads up, okay? Because you know what they like to do to me. Soon as I start cooking and booking, and wow, bam, and you're going, they start crying on my show. And then they want to report me. They want to report me to the TikTok CEOs. This is what they do. They go inside, report. What is the reason? And they'll just pick whatever makes them feel better. The worst of the worst, right? Misinformation usually. But then when I ask them to tell me why, what have I lied about, they can never tell me. And then they'll call TikTok. Please, out of all the people on TikTok, stop Big Zeus. We just can't handle it. All right? They say it's hateful rhetoric. It's not hateful rhetoric. It's the truth. So if you cannot handle the truth, you should leave my platform and go hang out with every single one of these fake TikTok hosts who are going to lie to you, and then they'll take all that you have right after you give what you got to Donald Trump. They're going to say, now what's left? Give it to me. And I got some lies you've never heard. Remember when they used to say, I am Charlie Kirk? Remember that? It was the radical left and their rhetoric that did that. And now look at where we're at right now. It's not the radical left. It's you. It's you. So if you cannot handle the truth, leave right now, because it's going to get very uncomfortable for you. Oh yeah, we do talk about racism in here. We do talk about misogyny in here. We talk about everything because we understand the stronghold. And we talk about you being so-called Christians too. So if you can't handle any of that, leave right now. Don't report the live, because I promise you it's going to get very, very uncomfortable in here. I promise you it will. But get this, you don't got to take my word for it. How about this? How about you listen to your leader?
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the doors to the Thunderdome have closed, and I take no responsibility for anybody out there that might be that might end up getting hurt. Speaking of leaving, ladies and gentlemen, let's just go ahead and get this on the record. Right before I went live, Tom Homan, Donald Trump's border czar, made a special announcement. So we're going to go ahead and get that on the record. Tom Homan says, I have announced effective immediately. We will draw down 700 people effective today, 700 law enforcement personnel. And this has to do with the attack that Donald Trump's Gestapo agents unleashed on the state of Minnesota with the ICE and the Border Patrol agents. So let's listen to what Tom Homan has to say.
Given this increase in unprecedented collaboration, and as a result of the need for less law enforcement officers to do this work in a safer environment, I have announced effective immediately, we will draw down 700 people effective today. 700 law enforcement personnel.
So what I want to do is give a huge round to the Democrats and to all the regular Americans out there that stood up against the United States federal government and peacefully protested the evil that was going on in the United States. I'm going to get around to God's judgment, because I got to send someone straight to hell. Ladies and gentlemen, we are truly living in some of the darkest days here in the United States of America, when you have people who wear red hats, worship Donald Trump, and profess to be Christians running around here terrorizing women and children in the name of protecting folks like you and I. I don't feel safe. I never felt safe with anyone wearing a mask, carrying a sidearm, running through the neighborhood, talking about, I'm trying to help you out, I'm trying to make your life. No, if you want to help me out, you can do better things like that. Why don't you go ahead and drop $100,000 in my bank account? You want to help me out? Yeah, drop $100,000 in my bank account for a second, and then I'll tell you know what? I'll sit down and try to understand where you're coming from. But other than that, I don't need your help. I've been standing on my own very well. And you know what it is? And you saw it up here yesterday with this one lowlife, one loser, tiny tank top Tim. He got up in my box. His wife's telling him, I need your attention, honey. You need to help me out. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to come in here and try to bother Big Zeus and all of you. Like the typical Trump supporter. He's in everybody else's business except his own. And that's why I got to send MAGA straight to hell this morning. Because look at that. How many people, honestly, invited MAGA to Minnesota? Are there any Democrats out there that reached out to Donald deranged in the Trump files Trump and said, hey, could you come to Minnesota and help us out? No one did that. No one did that. But that's typical Trump voter behavior. Putting themselves in everybody else's business and not focusing on the issues that are really going on. Yeah. The real issues like, Texas is a border state. Why won't every single one of you Trump voters, like you, tiny tank top Tim, why don't you leave the state you're in? Because it's a blue state. I know where you live. He lives in a blue state. Why don't you leave that blue state you're in and go to Texas and secure our border with your lazy self? You ain't nothing but a hypocrite. What I'll do is this, ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire. You too, DJ. Dame, you're in Texas, Dame. I just thought of you, brother. You should get at that border wall and show us how you really look out there upholding white supremacy, right? Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire, sending these hypocrites, these so-called Christians, where they belong, straight to hell.
Silence!
I had to say it.
You
I
MAGA Damien!
I had to say it, and that's a huge W. Listen, to the Trump voters out there, if the Democrat cities, the sanctuary cities need your help, they know how to find you and ask you to come help them. But outside of that, you forcing yourself into these cities, all it does is, to me, it reminds me of those people who are in the Epstein files, forcing themselves on people who don't want you. It's almost like that in a way, and I don't want to do that. It's a disservice to the survivors and the victims to say it that way, but you can't force yourself on anybody. It's sick to do that. And only a sick person would think forcing yourself on someone is helping someone. No, I don't buy it, so that's a huge W. I got another story to talk about since we're talking about forcing yourselves on someone. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, how many of you remember yesterday when I showed you this demon right here? Remember yesterday I showed you this demon? So we had an anti-ICE protest going on all over the country, and it's just like he's worse than Nick Shirley, because Nick Shirley did this thing, you know, going to the daycares, always going after kids, usually typical white guy going to a daycare, going to a school looking for kids. So this guy is in Texas, pulls up in his MAGA hat, you know, and I'm going to go stop these children from protesting against ICE. So first of all, that should be a crime. If you're wearing a red hat, it should be illegal. It should just be illegal for you to go to a high school. I don't know what you're doing there. You're not there to learn. I know a lot of Trump voters, some of them like Tiny Take Top Tim Tom. They don't go to the schools to learn. So what you doing there? See, I catch it right there. So this demon, ladies and gentlemen, went to the school and called himself harassing a bunch of, he started getting into it he got into an altercation, a physical altercation with a young girl. And I said to myself, imagine, you know, I'm not a parent, but let's just say, you know, I got nieces and nephews and sort of stuff. What if you got that call? Some grown man wearing a red hat hopped out of his truck and assaulted your child. What would you do? Some dude, white guy, red hat, jumped out of his pickup truck and began to assault your daughter physically. What would a real man do? Oh, that's grounds for termination. That's you, right, Ange? Ange. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you should call the police. Definitely call the police. All right, I don't want to promote violence, but you can't pretend like that thought wouldn't cross your mind. You ever seen that movie, The Equalizer, with Denzel Washington? You ever seen that movie? If you haven't seen it, you should watch it, because I'd imagine, you know, that's the first thing you got 12 seconds. And I'd have been on him like white on rice. How dare you think you have the right to skip past me and put your hands on my child? You know, when I was growing up, you know, there's things that your parents used to say, you know, I brought you in, I take you out, you know. That's the thing, right? Most parents understand if there's anyone going to do that, it would be me, because I'm the one that carried you. I'm the one that helped pay for you, so to speak. But this guy decided he's better than the parents. He's going to go put his hands on somebody's daughter. But I am so glad that there were other children there that rose to the occasion, and they actually put hands, feet, and whatever they had on him. So W to those children. But we got some great news, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to send this demon straight to hell. All right, so it turns out, maybe it's because of this show, maybe it's because of all the people who posted on social media about this demon. It turns out he's now been detained by the police. All right, so this guy, Chad Michael Watts, 45 years ignorant, arrested after assaulting students at an anti-ICE raid, ladies and gentlemen. You can't make this stuff up, and we're going to send him where he belongs, straight to hell. So let's go ahead and get this on the record.
One man has been arrested tonight after a student protest in Buda turns violent. Police say a confrontation between a 45-year-old man, Chad Michael Watts, and a minor escalated into a fight during a walkout yesterday. CBS Austin's Farrah Walton joins us live tonight in Buda. Farrah, this is drawing a lot of widespread attention tonight.
Yeah, it sure is. While video of that fight has spread quickly on social media, it appears to show a man getting out of his truck at the intersection behind me and getting into a fight with a student before a group of students gets involved, and he eventually is seen getting back into his truck. So I was like, oh, are they like jumping this guy at first, you know, and I didn't. Then I realized, oh wow, he's like an adult that actually like got out of his car and you know, probably started getting violent or whatever. This is video taken by a student who attends Mo and Jean Johnson High School in Buda. It shows a fight between an adult and a student Monday during an anti-ICE walkout protest.
A full-grown adult on a young high school girl is a lot of power to overthrow, and so it took enough people around finally to get him off of her.
The fight happened during a string of student walkouts across Central Texas to protest immigration and law enforcement operations Monday. We know.
So that's enough. It's It's vile. It's disgusting. It's anti-Christ-like. It's not Christian at all. But you got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, typical suspect, white guy in America with a Trump hat, thinks he's God. And thinks that he is every child on earth. He thinks he's their parent. He thinks he's the one that can enforce the law. No respect for life, no respect for women, no respect for children at all. All he does is worship Donald Trump. All the way to the point where he's willing to throw away his freedom. And you want to know what the most unhinged part about this? This is how you know these folks' brains is gone. He went home after he did this, and in an act of desperation to try to mask his identity, you know what he did? Oh, no, I can't do it. He shaved his head. So now he's a skinhead, I guess. Now he's a skinhead. Think about this. MAGA has to be, it's like Donald Trump said.
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
That's not how you get away with committing crimes. The only way to get away with committing a crime is don't commit the crime. And shaving your head doesn't make you look more innocent. It makes you look like we already suspected. It's so funny you turned into a white supremacist just that fast. You were hiding that underneath that red hat. I would have never known. Huh? I ain't got time for this. This is why I don't even want to do shows like this, but I get so angry. And then they say, oh, Zeus, please don't bring up Donald Trump. No, I'll bring up Donald Trump because that's who's responsible for this. He's the one giving these people permission to think that they're getting away with things that we all know they can't. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire once again. Who is this? Chad Michael Watts. I got some Watts for your behind, all right? But it ain't the ones you're looking for. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending this demon straight to hell.
Silence!
I don't care.
You MAGA demon!
All right, W. Zeus. You know, I go into this live yesterday. I don't know if any of you seen me do it on my backup. Brother in there and a sister in there upholding white supremacy as usual. Gonna try to convince me Donald Trump isn't a racist and that he, as a black man in America, he's not impacted by racism at all. And so I started talking to him, and the first thing I started doing was just bringing up who Donald Trump was. Oh, Zeus, why do you insist on talking about Donald Trump? We're trying to talk about things that could bring this country together. And I said, listen, ma'am, and she knows who she is. And they know who they are. Listen up, brothers and sisters. I don't even want to call you brothers and sisters anymore. Blagger, listen up. I will never stop talking about Donald Trump. You can say I got TDS all you want. You know why I won't stop? Because I know it hurts you. I know it hurts you to hear me freely talk about who your daddy is and make you look at him for what he is. I know that. So no, I'm not going to come together with a bunch of folks that won't even acknowledge the truth. It's never going to happen. So if you do not want to talk about Donald Trump, do us a favor and get off of TikTok. W. Zeus. Get off of TikTok if you don't want to talk about Donald Trump, all right? Because you talked about Biden for 4 years straight. 4 years straight. You couldn't get it out of your system. Now Biden's not here. You're still talking about Biden. So no, I'm going to talk about Donald Trump until I get doggone tired of it. And I'm not done until he's actually impeached, removed, and convicted. That's just how the cookie crumbles. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to move on to some Epstein-related stuff. And what we'll do is, I want to listen to Melinda Gates first. I think let's listen to Bill Gates first. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to ask you, does Bill Gates, is this guy innocent or is he guilty? I don't know. I mean, we're going to go to a statement he made in 2021, and then we'll go to the statement that he made yesterday, I think. All right, so let's listen to what Bill Gates first said, and then we'll listen to what Melinda says. I mean, we're going to have to judge it.
It was reported that you continue to meet with him over several years, and that, in other words, a number of meetings. What did you do when you found out about his?
Well, I've said I regretted having those dinners. and there's absolutely nothing new on that.
Is there a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so in general, you always have to be careful. And I'm very proud of what we've done in philanthropy. Very proud of the work of the foundation. That's what I get up every day and focus on.
He says he's dead. He said he's dead. He's talking about Epstein. All right. Now let's listen to his statement that he put out yesterday. Jesus Christ. Hold on. We'll get this, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry. There you go. There we go.
I regret and I apologize that I did that.
Part of that issue of trust brings me to Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know what your relationship with him was.
That's good.
Yeah, I met Jeffrey in 2011. So over a period of 3 years, I had a number of dinners with him. The focus was always, he knew a lot of very rich people, and he was saying he could get them to give money to global health. In retrospect, that was a dead end, and I've said many times, but I'll say again, I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him.
You've no doubt seen the allegations, including some of them from the last 24 to 48 hours. Are they true?
No, apparently Jeffrey wrote an email to himself. That email was never sent. The email is, false. So I don't know what his thinking was there. Was he trying to attack me in some way? But, it just reminds me, every minute I spent with him, I regret and I, apologize that I did that.
The problem is some of the things that he has sent and some of the information about other people that has come up in those files has been true. Why would he do this and say this about you, do you think?
It's factually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
Is it frustrating to you, given what you've said, that this is now happening?
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, people should, hold people who are successful to a very high bar. And so, it's, as these documents come out, they're going to be closely scrutinized.
I'm just not sold. Yeah, that's the part. I didn't hear any acknowledgement for the victims and survivors. And who are you apologizing to? You don't owe me an apology. I don't know you. But I have an issue. I do, and it has to do with dinner. Most men, you don't just go to dinner with other dudes. You don't do that. You take out. I mean, unless you're interested in them, right? And so you didn't open up that door about going to dinner because you didn't. So why so many dinners? Why so many dinners with Epstein, Bill? What you eat? You gotta ask. What did y'all eat? Where was y'all going? And in light of just, and then, even if you were on the fence, I would say this should just go ahead and confirm it, right? So what we'll do is we'll listen to his ex-wife, Melinda, real quick, and then we'll get to judgment.
The emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection and that he was going to give you the medicine without you knowing.
Now, I've seen a lot of First 48. This sounds like somebody premeditated. This sounds premeditated, doesn't it? This sounds premeditated.
His representative has said all of this is false.
Of course.
It is not on you to have to respond to the details of that alleged.
You know how many of these white guys that have committed just some of the most heinous crimes, when they first get arraigned, they all say this, I'm innocent. So I don't... Every time anyone gets caught, that's the first thing you say. You never implicate yourself. But none of this is wild stuff. And I want to say, like, okay, maybe Epstein is making this all up because Trump actually said, and they don't like it when I mention Trump, but right now Trump is actually saying the same thing Bill is actually kind of saying now. Remember, Trump said Michael Wolff worked with Epstein to come up with all of this to try to ruin Trump politically. So Epstein must have one heck of an imagination on top of just all the evil stuff he was doing. Right? Is that what I'm supposed to believe?
Behavior, but I wonder what your dominant emotion is when you read these news articles with these details.
Sad. Just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right?
Yeah.
And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls, right? And so for me, it's just sadness. Sadness for, I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage. I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave the foundation. So it's just sad. That's the truth, right? And it's kind of like, at least for me, I've been able to move on in life.
All right, fair enough. So I'm going to err on the side of caution. The fact that Melinda Gates decided to move on, let this be a lesson to, that was Melinda. That's a lesson to every single one of you conservative women out there. If you're with a MAGA man, you might as well start doing what Melinda said she had to do. And Bill had a lot of money. So what that proves is that no matter how much money a person has, it's still not a good idea to stay with someone, because if they're an evil person, they're an evil person. Don't sell your soul for cheap, all right? You can't be bought, right? And so what we'll say is this, Bill, you know what? I don't got the evidence. You're right. I don't have the evidence to prosecute and convict, but you know what? I got to stay true to myself, like Donald Trump says, to a certain degree. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, then guess what? It's a duck. And where there's smoke, guess what? There's fire. Ladies and gentlemen, join me once again. Because right is right and wrong is wrong. You shouldn't have been on that many dinners with a guy like that, especially as much resources as you had. I don't buy it. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending this demon straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
That's a huge W. All right. Now, I got to also call this out because this is still tied to the Epstein files. I'm going to start with Ben Shapiro first, all right? Because this is what he was saying last year. MAGA right now, because their dear leader is underwater with the E-files, all right? They're trying to spin this lie, and I just got to put you all on game, so to speak, about it. The lie is the rest of the country, we're not too worried about what's in the E-files, all right? Listen to this, all right?
However, when President Trump speaks for the American people more generally, and he says, guys, don't we have better things to do? You can understand his irritation. The man is trying to negotiate an end to a war in the Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
He's trying to negotiate an end to a war in Ukraine. He's attempting to revivify the American economy. He's attempting to crack down on illegal immigration. On a list of American priorities by the polls, the Epstein-Maxwell case comes in pretty close to zero, just on a list of priorities.
Does anyone think the Epstein files is not a priority in the United States? Does anyone think that? Because we gotta confront this. Is this like a zero priority situation in America, ladies and gentlemen? How many of you think this is a zero priority? It is a priority, right? Right? Yeah. So that's Ben Shapiro. Yeah, he's lying. That's Ben Shapiro. And so what you all got to do is be on the lookout, because this is what MAGA is trying to do. They're trying to say this is not a priority. Yesterday, Ungar, Sargon, yesterday, she goes on to CNN with Abigail Phillips, and it was so interesting to hear her repeat the same lie.
I'm just, okay, I really agree with the president. I think that most Americans just do not care about this. This has been an obsession of elites on the right and now elites on the left. Elites on the right were obsessed with it when they thought they could use it to hurt leftists, and now the left is obsessed with it because they think they can use it to hurt the right.
See what I'm talking about? Christina, you see why I have to do this very difficult work? Because I see these lies coming. And I actually do care about the survivors and the victims getting justice, whatever that looks like. And when you hear narratives like this floating out there, a lot of people, they don't keep up with politics like Big Zeus and a lot of you do. And so, you know, you'll be out in the real world and you'll be acting, and you'll talk to people, they'll be trying, you know, some people might actually think this is an issue and won't be standing up for this. No, you need to be standing up for it. You need to be standing up against what's going on right now in terms of what's happening with these e-files. Because if you don't, then what you're doing, and I'm going to go back to that demon that was beating up the girl at the school, right? You're giving every guy with a red hat, all right, permission to go around and continue repeating what they've been seeing their dear leader doing. And we cannot have any of that. This, ladies and gentlemen, is arguably, I'm going to say it, this is arguably the most important issue in the United States of America. The Epstein files, or as some say, the Trump files. It's the most important issue. Because this is what I see. Everything is a distraction from these, right? Whether it's dropping the boom boom on Iran, right? Whether it's sending Operation Metro Surge into Minneapolis and accusing sanctuary cities of financial fraud with no evidence. Whether it's the Doge, remember we're supposed to get the Doge checks and the tariff money from Liberation Day. All of these things are nothing but a distraction. And they actually have a direct impact on all of us. You understand what I am saying? And so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, whether it's Ben Shapiro or Ungar Sargon, I'm going to ask that you do us all a huge favor. And I'm going to warm it up. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these demons who continue to lie and cover up for this administration as it relates to the Epstein files. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending them where they belong. Straight to hell!
Silence, you MAGA demon!
All right, next I want to talk about is, you know, we're going to get to Donald J. Trump and the Epstein files update that he gave us, but I want to ask you, what do you think about this? This came out yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. This goes to James Comer. Why doesn't Donald Trump need to testify in Congress? Listen to the justification James Comer gives the American people. This is by far the most insane thing that I've heard.
President Trump's name is mentioned more than 1,000 times in these documents. Why not try to get more information from him? Try to get him to testify.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed that every time you all do a gaggle like this with President Trump, somebody asks him about Epstein. So he's been answering questions about Epstein.
Not an oath.
But, well, has Bill Clinton ever answered any questions on Epstein or Hillary Clinton? So this is going to be a new opportunity, and we'll go from there.
So they're saying this is James Comer, you know, the one that was supposedly going to impeach former President Biden. Donald Trump doesn't need to talk about Epstein under oath because he gives all kinds of press conferences. And then you saw what he did, bringing up former President Bill Clinton. All of them need to testify. Honestly, Donald Trump's not exempt, especially when you know he's a well-known documented liar. Again, MAGA, where's your spines? Where's your accountability? You don't need to even answer the question because we know what you are. You're nothing but a bunch of modern day hypocrites. Speaking of modern day hypocrites, ladies and gentlemen, did you see what happened yesterday when their dear leader right there gave a press conference and he gave us his updates. He gave us the updates on the Epstein files. And so what we'll do is we'll listen to their dear leader tell us all pretty much we need to move on from those files, which is similar to what we just heard, you know, with these other so-called right-wing influencers.
Ambassador shaking hands with him over a trade deal. He's today been forced to resign from the House of Lords, the upper house of the British Parliament, over his links to Jeffrey Epstein. Just wondered if you had any reaction to that, since obviously he was here before.
I didn't know about it, but I really don't know too much about it. I know who he is. Oh. It's too bad. You know, speaking of Epstein, I will say this. A reporter named Wolf and Epstein conspired. This just came out yesterday in the millions of pages of documents, how crazy this is. Right. Conspired against me in order to fight like hell to make sure I lose the election. That's the only thing that was mentioned about me. Now, about Democrats, some really bad stuff, but about me, that Wolf, whoever Wolf is, he wrote a book, a couple of books, and Epstein conspired against me. Did you know that, Mr. Senator? Did you know that?
How many people out there think Epstein conspired against Donald Trump? I just got to ask, because these lies, is he lying or is he telling the truth? See, this is when where are the critics of mine at? Remember, they like to accuse me of lying? I believe he's lying. But does anybody's mind not mature, has it fully developed yet? Anybody's got an underdeveloped mind, so to speak, that believes what Donald Trump is saying is true. And I'm not trying to pick on you, but I just wanted to get you up here because, Shay, you were there. I heard some feedback yesterday. There is a Trump voter, but they came to the conclusion that Donald Trump's a terrible person. But they said Zeus is too mean. Can you believe this? I'm being told I'm the reason. This is what they said. I'm the reason the Democrats lost people like me. And I said, well, what did I do? Oh, you come across as angry. And you didn't make me feel good about being on the wrong side of history. And I said, well, listen, have you been paying attention to who Donald Trump is? A documented liar? What? You should be angry too. In a way, you really should be angry and upset that Donald Trump is lying so much and getting away with it. You can't be nice. I can't come to you. Hello, how are you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful morning today. Yes, I want to talk to you about how, your dear leader is just the worst liar on the planet. Would you mind coming in on my platform and, sharing with us what you know? And maybe we could come. You're not going to get that out of me. Because when I used to be like that, you insulted me. Yeah. You cast me aside. You called me everything but a child of God. So where we're at is where we're at. You better listen up. And I don't care if you don't like the way the message is being delivered. Use whatever is left in your brain to keep up with this information that's being shared out. How about that? That's a huge W, Zeus. I don't care.
They conspired against me, so I lose the election, or worse. So that takes care of Epstein as far as Trump is concerned. And there are a lot of Democrats out there that are very much involved with Epstein. But I'll be honest with you, you got to get back to running the country too. Millions and millions every week. When Epstein was alive, nobody cared about him. When he's dead, they care about him.
How disrespectful is that to the survivors and the victims? Seriously. You're going to say that as the president of the United States of America, where there's thousands of survivors and victims, and you're going to say nobody cared about? They've been trying to get justice ever since they've encountered this man. So that's another bold-faced lie. It's sad. He actually says that he never asked God for forgiveness. This is the president. He doesn't even think he needs to ask God for forgiveness. And what's even worse than that is the fact that Epstein himself said Donald Trump is a terrible human being, not a decent soul, not a decent cell in his body. That says a lot.
But it's really a Democrat problem. It's not a Republican, it's a Democrat problem. The only problem Republicans have is that we have to get back to, number one, running our country, and then number two, very importantly, letting the public know what a great job we're doing.
No, that's not the only problem Republicans have. The problem Republicans have right now is Donald Trump. Yeah. Oh, there I go again, saying his name. Zeus, could you just please stop saying Donald Trump? What do you want me to call him? The orange buffoon, number 47. It doesn't matter. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, he single-handedly lying to the American people over and over, putting a lot of people's lives at risk. And in some cases, a lot of Americans are losing their life because of these lies. And the most important thing in America right now is the Epstein files.
We have the greatest economy in the history of the world. We have $18 trillion being spent. The record was $3 trillion many years ago, not by us, by another country. I won't say the country. Yeah, please.
Did you read the new files, Mr. President?
Have you been briefed on Savannah Guthrie's mom missing in Arizona?
I think it's terrible.
let's get to the part where things get out of hand, ladies and gentlemen. And this has to do with, Caitlin Collins, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to how Donald Trump's misogyny and his perpetual victimhood kicks in when Caitlin Collins, all she's trying to do is some sort of justice, some sort of help for these survivors and victims. And Donald Trump doesn't do anything in terms of that and actually turns around and attacks Caitlin Collins. This is the worst thing I've ever seen.
I have a lot of things I'm doing, a lot of things I'm doing. I don't know. You mentioned two names. I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they're fine. Otherwise, it would have been it's a terrible thing. I always got along very good with Savannah. Very unusual. Yeah, what do you want?
On the Epstein files, you talked about Democrats who were in there. Elon Musk was also in there, and so was your Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and correspondence that he had with him. Did you read those new files that were published by the Department of Justice?
I didn't. I have a lot of things I'm doing.
He didn't even read the files that had Elon and Howard. He's so busy. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. And he's lying.
A lot of things I'm doing. I don't know. You mentioned two names. I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they're fine. Otherwise, it would have been major headlines.
A lot of women who are survivors of Epstein's are unhappy with those redactions that came out. Some of them, entire witness interviews are totally blacked out. Do you think that they should be more transparent?
They thought they released too much. I heard that, and you tell me something else. No. I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else. Now.
I think it's really time for the country.
I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else. Now.
I think it's really time for the country to move on to something else. See, that's how abusers talk, because they don't want to continue to keep having to address the abuse that they've been inflicting, right? But we're not gonna just, we're not just gonna move on, sir, because a lot of us, we want justice and we want to know who did what and make sure that they end up being held accountable. All right. So if you don't mind it, could you please keep that even mindset, keep that even tone. I love that even tone because two can play that game. All right. Just keep that even tone, but please answer these questions. All right. W. Rick. Answer the questions.
Nothing.
No. Let's see if we can keep that tone.
Came out about me, other than there was a conspiracy against me, literally, by Epstein and other people. But I think it's time now for the country to maybe get onto something else.
But what would you say to people who feel like they haven't gotten justice, Mr. President?
Something that people care about. Yeah, what did you say? Go ahead,
what would you say to the survivors who feel like they haven't gotten justice?
You are the worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. She's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile on your face.
I'm asking you about survivors.
You know why? You know why you're not smiling? Because you're not telling the truth. And you're a very dishonest organization, and they should be ashamed of you.
Wow.
These are survivors of a sexual abuse of health care.
Wow. So he attacks Caitlin Collins. Christina, you think that's funny? You think that's funny, Christina? I don't. Because somebody's daughter had to listen to this. Imagine how that made them feel. Have you ever thought about that, Christina? It's not just about you, Oh, you want cheaper groceries, you want your utility bill and stuff like that. But guess what? That's somebody's daughter. A survivor could have been watching the president do this and just, devastating. And then for Caitlin Collins, a woman, yeah, it's not something to smile about. This is a serious matter. Why should she be smiling? And she gets in trouble because she's not smiling. It's the sickest thing I've ever seen. It's the sickest thing I've ever seen. And ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pleasure that I do this. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire. This is for all the people out there that continue to worship Donald Trump and pretend like we don't see what's really going on, despite all the evidence out there that shows this man's name is in the files the most. His name is in the files more than Jesus' name is in the Bible. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending demons straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon!
That's a huge W, Zeus. All right, ladies ladies and gentlemen. Listen, that concludes my monologue. And it is now time, honestly, to start engaging with those of you who are brave enough to get in the box, tell the truth, and shame the devil, all right? So what we'll do is this. Do I have anybody out there that's an honest Trump voter? Rick. Thank you, champ. Please tap the screen, share it live, all right? Do we have anybody out there that is a Trump voter? Because what I'll say is this. I've been noticing on this app as of late, right? The spirit of supporting Donald Trump is dwindling. It's declining all over social media. All right, W Dolphin, thank you. Miss Renee, thank you. The spirit of supporting Donald Trump is declining. It's dwindling, and it's truly because at a certain point, the rubber meets the road, and people are starting to realize, you know what? Donald Trump isn't really delivering. Even on X, yeah. Even I got into a discussion, an argument about, how Donald Trump promised those Doge checks. Remember the Doge checks? Remember that? Remember the money we were supposed to be getting for the terrorists, the $2,000? I get into an argument because now the lie is, he never promised it, right? But you got Grok over there. Grok says he did propose the idea. Yeah, he suggested he was going to do it. And they literally are having a meltdown now because they're going, oh my God, he's really not delivering on any of the things that he lied to you all and said that he would deliver on, right? Yeah. I was talking to another Trump voter. Now they got Trump voters concerned about states that are allowing people to vote. And they go, well, Zeus, are you for voter ID? I said, listen, if you're not a citizen of the country, you shouldn't be able to vote. It's very simple. But last I checked, because, they like to make it seem like they like to make it look like sanctuary cities or, blue states are contributing towards Donald Trump losing elections. And I said, isn't it funny? Isn't it funny, MAGA? Donald Trump believes that Joe Biden weaponized the DOJ to stop him from winning the election, right? Isn't it funny that Donald Trump believes the 2020 election was rigged, right? And y'all all showed up at the Capitol on January 6th. Isn't it funny that he now is saying that Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff conspired together to stop him from winning the election? And yet he's in the White House. Think about this. Y'all gonna at some point have to come to the conclusion that he loves lying. He loves taking advantage of each and every single one of you. And the American people all over the country are seeing it, and they're going, you know what? We're done with this. Okay, we're not going to continue to allow him to do it. Yeah, we're not going to continue to allow him to manipulate us and trick us into believing the lies. All right. And again, I want to ask Trump voters out there, does anyone know what happened to Charlie Kirk? Yeah, look at this. This is an amazing show. You see this, ladies and gentlemen? I've never ever cooked and booked so much, and I must have hurt every single one of their feelings. Where are the Trump voters at out there? Go ahead. Send Big Zeus a guest request, MAGA. Send Big Zeus a guest request, because it's amazing how I've cleaned house so well this morning. It's almost as if you know that I'm right and you're wrong, and I don't mind being that guy, so to speak. All right, moving it. Oh, look at who we have here. We'll bring up Jess. Good morning, Jess. Look at this. This is a nice light show. Good morning, Jess. How are you?
Yeah. Good morning. How are you? Oh my goodness! I noticed no one wanted to get up in the box, so I was like, let me just request. I don't get to request all the time, so
well, it's nice to hear from you again. It's fine. Yeah, I was gonna, maybe we can, we're done. We already did what we needed to do, kind of thing, right? But
I mean, facts. I mean, what are they gonna say anymore? Because we heard what Trump just said to Caitlin Collins about the e-files. Yeah. He doesn't want this to go any further. He wants as much distance from it as possible. And what's funny is other countries are taking this more seriously than the United States. In Slovenia, I believe. I cannot pronounce the man's name. Forgive me, but here's the screenshot. He is resigning because of his involvement in the emails.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, where did you go?
Hey. Oh, it didn't connect. Hold on, my green screen.
You're showing something?
There we go. There's this guy from Slovakia. He is a security advisor, and he resigns over his links to Epstein. And then we have this guy, Peter Mandelson. It seems other countries are taking this a bit more seriously than we are.
Something.
It's really funny. Caitlin said about 2 specific names and said, you know, what's going on with those guys? Oh, well, if he was
Elon and Howard Lutnick.
Yep. Well, if it was serious, it would be making headlines and blah, blah, blah. Well, it is making headlines, and our country and the people that are in power are doing absolutely nothing about it. No one is taking it seriously anymore, except the left. And, you know, I wanted to address something, because I saw, excuse me. Sorry, I'm getting a little sick. My kids have been sick over here.
Well, take care of yourself.
I know. But so I saw a Tiny Tank Top Tom in the comments earlier talking about the love guru and this and that, and like just always
You're talking about me?
Yeah. They love talking about you. They love setting their alarms to come see you. They love, honestly, I think they just love to be here with us.
Wow.
But unfortunately, you know, he said something, you can't find someone to love you.
Me?
Yeah, but you have a lot of friends. You don't need, see, the thing about it is, you don't need to have a romantic partner to be loved and to be cared for.
Amen.
You also don't need a romantic partner to be a good person. You have a romantic partner and you don't even listen to her. You have a romantic partner and she's telling you, hey baby, why you go in there in that live every day?
Yeah.
Why you go in that live? Don't you have anything better to do? Why don't you go spend time with me? Why don't you get off of there, listen to some music instead, or listen to a book? No, you set an alarm and you go ahead and you come in here and be a miserable little prick. That's all you do. And honestly, at the same time, I would rather you get off of the app and go wash your butt. It stinks. I've seen you with your fucking camera. Oh, sorry, Mama Zeus. Sorry, Mama Zeus. I have seen you with your camera on, and I am telling you, if you used an exfoliating net sponge, an African net sponge, you would come out 5 shades lighter.
Wow, Jess, you gave him that advice for free, and that shows that you are a kind and compassionate person. Even in the face of adversity, you know how to still remain kind and compassionate. Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta give it to.
It's really unfortunate, and he says he never defends Trump. He doesn't simp for Daddy Trump, but you sure don't ever criticize a single thing he does.
Yes.
Like, we can admit that they're, like, literally, you just were talking about Bill Gates and his wife. We can admit people are in the files, and we're not denying it. We're saying this is crazy.
What's crazy is, you know, you've been looking in the files, right? Can you believe that in the files there's stories about children being unalived at the Epstein Ranch, the Zorro Ranch? You heard about that?
I did. And this is another one for you MAGA demons. They had a doctor, I forget his name. I have the screenshot in my phone. I have a lot of screenshots. I'm not going to dig through it right now.
Don't do it.
But, oh God, it's so hard to talk about. They were talking about playing the voice of a mother, whether singing or talking to the baby.
Really?
And the baby sucking more vigorously on the pacifier. I hate you guys so much. I hate all of you.
I do. W. Jess. This is the biggest issue in America. And honestly, Jess, how does it make you feel seeing the president of the United States saying things like, we should just move on? and telling all these right-wing influencers that it's not really that big of an issue in the country. People want to focus more on the border. They want to focus more on healthcare. They want to focus more on the economy. How does that make you feel as an American?
I'm disgusted, and I know you don't care that I hate you, Tom. I really don't care that I hate you either, because that's what you focus on instead of what I said before that. You're focusing on me saying I hate you guys that think the e-files are something to just brush under the rug. You just ignored that I said a doctor was telling Epstein about a baby sucking more vigorously on a pacifier. You people are sick. Seek therapy. You are so weird. That's what you focus on? That's what you focus on? Y'all are sick.
Yep. She's not lying, W. Jess.
You are evil and you are despicable. And honestly, like, with all of that being said, I also saw Drippy yesterday. He said something and I forgot to address it yesterday.
Drippy, who's that, trash mate?
Yeah.
Oh.
I can't say the D word. I'm trying to keep it clean.
Okay, no, that's okay.
I already made a boo-boo earlier.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. I just didn't know we could call him that, but yeah, I remember that name.
So he said something about you don't help people in need whenever that young man came up and you dropped him down.
Oh.
That's not the time for that right now. But Zeus has helped people grow their platforms, given them advice on their content, has helped people grow their platform. And if you come up on Zeus's live every day, you'll get a good amount of followers every day. And people need to thank Zeus for that. And on top of it, he has absolutely fundraised for people and crowdfunded and helped people privately. You don't know what he does off this app. Get out of here. And none of you guys have ever helped anyone on this app, whether they be from Syria, from Palestine, from God knows wherever, not even from your own city or state.
Amen.
So with all of that being said, we have a better community than you could ever dream of. We have better morals than you could ever think you have. And we are just better people. And we're not evil, sick, vile humans trying to brush the e-files under the rug. And we are not supporting ICE unaliving citizens. And with that, I'm going to drop down. Thank you all for the gifts. Thank you for everything.
Wow, Jess. I mean, Jess is my sister, honestly, and she's so nice. She says things that I won't say, and I appreciate that, because I don't like to, say what I do. It's like, it is what it is. I understand life is hitting hard for a lot of people. If I'm in a position to do what I can, I do. But it speaks to the underlying issue going on in the United States. We're dealing with a very, very sick group of people, a bunch of broken people who profess to be Christians, and they track me down all over this app just to come up with something disparaging to say about me. And I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. I'm not in the e-files. I have zero control over your lives. I don't. No content creator actually has control over your life. And if you're a Trump voter, why are you upset if your guy is in the White House and he's in control of all three branches of the government? Why are you still so upset? It can't be because of the left and our rhetoric. That's not where the real power is. Or is it? And if that's where the real power is, then you should be wondering, how did you lose all the power that fast? In under a year, we've literally watched MAGA self-destruct. We've watched one of their biggest mascots, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And if you've been following me, we've had some great I've held great lives, just totally taking it to Marjorie. And maybe they've been so successful that it took a while, but the truth of what we've been saying eventually resonated with Marjorie. And she said it very, very plainly when she said, I'm done. She said, I refused to be a battered spouse. Think about that, MAGA. What does it mean when your own mascot says, I refuse to be a battered spouse? She's not even married to Donald Trump. But it's all tied to how he's been handling the Epstein files. What does that mean? And none of you can answer the question. None of you can answer it. Why are you still supporting this man? I get it. It's a tough ask to ask all of you to go and vote for a Democrat, but if you can't do that, you really need to sit this next election out. You really do. It's the least honorable thing you could do at this point, considering where we are as a nation. It's truly disgusting. Good morning,
Bruce,
Trick
what's
Back.
going
Hey,
on with
sis.
you?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. You know,
Yeah.
hey Kingdom, how y'all doing? You know what I just thought about this morning? And
What's
they
that?
keep on trying to act like we have to give them all these big glorious facts and that we don't have any evidence about Trump being in the JE files, even though we know he's he's in the JE files. They mention him more than they mention Jesus in the Bible.
Amen. That part.
But this is just simple for simple-minded people to be able, to wrap their brain around this. Let's think about this. Every single time the tell that he's guilty is when he's guilty about something, he says it's a hoax. You notice that?
Yep.
Every single time he's guilty about something, all of a sudden this big old hoax. Then the second thing that I noticed, the second thing that I noticed about Trump is that when he knows that he's guilty, like for instance, the contest of 2016.
Yeah.
He doesn't say anything about that contest. You know why? Because he won. Thank you, Rick. Because he won in that contest. You see what I'm saying? But the contest of 2020, that one was stolen. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he doesn't say anything about the contest of 2024, and we did it the same exact way.
Ain't that something?
All of a sudden, he got to check, make sure all the ballots are right, and we got to commandeer the machines for the voting, and we got to go into Georgia for the 2026. You know why?
Yeah.
Because he knows he's about to lose big time.
Amen.
This is the thing, MAGA. It's the hypocrisy for us. And I said this before and I'll say it again. You guys are okay with a little bit of racism. But the problem is, just like being a little bit of pregnant, right, Juice?
Yeah.
But the problem is, MAGA, is that you guys are so silly that you keep on saying that black people are low IQ, but then at the same time, you say we came up with this master plan to take the contest of 2020 while we weren't even in power. So what are we? I mean, it does not line up. What are we? Are we low IQ or are we smart enough to get over on y'all? Are we low IQ or we have the ability to get away with stuff that you can't get away with? Are we low IQ or do we just happen to have evidence against the people that we have locked up and found guilty? Are we low IQ because we voted for the non-Chester 3 times? Are we low IQ because we don't want to put a person in charge that's a 34-time felon over law and order in this country? Are we low IQ because we want immigrants to have due process while you lay up with an immigrant that got her papers from doing, something strange for a little change.
Hey, let's go straight back to them with it. They're a bunch of hypocrites. These folks are a bunch of hypocrites. They sitting up there posted up with an immigrant like that, right? And they gonna tell us they got to get rid of all of the immigrants. Make it make sense. That don't make sense.
Right, make it make sense. And the fact that black people are not coming out to be the targets, they don't even know how to deal with that. They don't know how to understand that. And another thing, we are so low IQ, let y'all tell it, that we mastermind a fraud in Minnesota and took all you high IQ people's tax money. But mighty funny, you never mentioned the main person of the fraud. Her name is Amy Bach.
Yep.
I mean, it's the line of logic for me that doesn't add up. Let me say this too, and let me get on up out of here because I'm going to say it. Y'all sit up every day and say, when you Tiny Tank, Tim, Tom, DJ, all the rest of y'all, Jamming Lou, all y'all sit up and y'all say, the word racism has no weight anymore. We don't care anymore about the word racism or racist. But if that's the case, then why don't you guys just admit that you picked the least qualified person to be the president of the United States over a black woman? Just say that. If it's not a big deal, just admit that you didn't want a black woman to be the president of the United States.
Go ahead, straight facts.
You're not going to respect them, right?
Yeah.
You're still not going to respect them.
Yeah.
But at least you got the caucasity to tell the truth. I'm going to tell you like this.
Yeah.
We don't have to do anything, MAGA. Y'all worried about why we not out in the streets. Y'all worried about why we ain't doing this. You know why? Because we don't have to do anything. All we have to do is continue line dancing, because what you guys are doing, you're going to breed yourself. I know Mama Zeus is listening. You're going to breed yourself out of existence. And all we got to do is just continue line dancing. Black people, don't take us out there. Let this go down the way it is going down, because guess what? 92% of us told everyone for the last 3 elections that this man was exactly who we thought he is. And guess what? And now I'm feeling a little bit. I told my husband this morning, I think that what's wrong with all of us is this.
Yeah.
We realize that we live under white tea trash.
Yeah.
See, the other presidents weren't white tea trash. We live under white tea trash right now, and our house is nasty.
Yeah.
And we don't, black people, contrary to popular belief, black folks don't like no nasty house.
Nope.
Okay? And we don't like to live under white trash. And I just found out this morning that people actually live in them trailer parks. I thought they were temporary. I didn't know that people lived in RVs in the backyard of some raggedy houses.
That's true. That's true. And people, you got to get it how you get it. Let's just be honest, right? You got to get it how you get it.
But that was something new that I just found out, because black people, we don't tend to do stuff like that. Y'all need to figure out who is actually the low IQ, because as far as I'm concerned, it's the people that picked the 34-time felon that's mentioned over 36,000 million trillion times in the Epstein files that is actually the people with the low IQ. I envy England. I envy them right now, because you know what? They're doing the right thing, Zeus.
That's right.
They're holding these people accountable for these nasty actions. And the fact that he set up there and pivoted to Caitlyn Smile, instead of actually addressing why haven't the victims been brought into the office, to the Oval Office? Why did you bring in the construction workers and throw them hats? You mean to tell me that the victims are not worth coming into the Oval Office? That's a tell in itself.
That says it all.
MAGA.
That tells it all.
Tells it all.
So what you're saying, straight facts, is he doesn't want to possibly end up in a space where he might, be around someone that he might have done something to. He doesn't want to face his accusers.
There you go. See, listen, it doesn't take a rocket scientist, because we know y'all not, I just called off a few things to let y'all know who is the actual low IQ and who's the actual high IQ.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand what I just said.
Yeah.
If you put it together and really think about it, MAGA, use the little bit of brain cells that you still have, you will understand exactly what I said. There's no way in the world that every election that he lost, it was rigged against him. It's no way in the world that every time we say that he did something that he's actually done, that it's a hoax. After a while, either you gotta get up and realize that you are the mark.
Yep.
Or just continue being the whole ass sucker.
All right. Wow, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm getting on up out here. I love y'all. Thank y'all for the gifts.
We love you.
By the way,
What's
you know
that?
what Jess was talking about? She was talking about clout chasing. They come over here to clout chase, to build up their panel, build up their viewers, and then what they do is then they want to talk mess about you, brother. Y'all stop clout chasing off of Zeus, because if he was as bad as y'all claim he was, you wouldn't bring your raggedy butts over here every day.
Amen. Thank you. Clout chases. Thank you, Straight Facts. I appreciate that. I totally appreciate that. No lies detected. I mean, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, running a great, clean operation. Listen, they say I spew hatred. It's not hatred. It's really love that what's going on here, and we're all having an impact. So I want to give a huge round of applause, honestly, to all of you, especially those of you in the audience who've been rocking with me for all these years. It's necessary work, and again, I see it for what you see it as too. But as you can also see, we've been strategically just totally chipping away at the will of every single one of these supporters. The thing is this, I still am relatively nice, but if you would ask the majority of my mutuals, ladies and gentlemen, W. Rick, I used to be a lot nicer. I did. And I'm saying this a little bit because, you know, when they say, Zeus, why do you do what you do? Why do you have the lake of fire? Why are you judging people so much? And I said, well, it didn't start out that way. I really did try to have good faith discussions with every single person. And I still try to, at the end of the day, give everyone an opportunity to at least express what they truly think and feel. However, I understand to what Straight Facts and Jess have been saying. You might be up here trying to, you know, pull a fast one on me and whatever that is, and it's kind of like, okay, whatever. But when it's time for the rubber to meet the road, and we're talking about very serious issues, what I've found is that MAGA, they will deflect, they will pivot, they will lie, they'll insult you, they'll do anything to try to get your platform taken down. They just get very, very disgusting. And that's the behavior that has escalated things on this platform to the point where if I just don't want to entertain it, you know, then guess what? I'll call you out on your hypocrisy. And I actually got good things that I can do to, you know, especially if you call yourself a Christian, you know all about the lake of fire if you've been reading your Bible. And guess what? MAGA, you caused me to have to use the lake of fire, because when you don't want to be an honest person, right? When you want to get up here and say hateful things, use all kinds of nasty words and slurs and try to just say things to attack away a person is, you know, then there's really nothing else left to say other than go straight to you know where, W Zeus. Right? So, if you don't want me to do the judging and stuff like that, and you don't want me to be laser focused on the hypocrisy, then just be honest. Right? Right, Ange? Just be honest with us. How on earth do you think a person like me, and I'm not even far left, right? If people do, and a lot of the people that come up here, they're not really far left, but how should we be reacting right now in the country when we've just witnessed what we've witnessed this past year? Whether it's what ICE has done to Renee Good, right? Alex Preddy, Keith Porter, and the list goes on and on, what we've seen. Do you really think we should be nice to you? That makes absolutely no sense. I just showed you a video of a Trump voter wearing a red hat, goes to a high school in Texas and starts beating up on a little high school girl. How should we react? You should understand right now, if you are a Trump supporter, that a lot of Americans are angry, and rightfully so. Because unlike you, we are not comfortable being lied to. Like, you know, I didn't vote for Donald Trump. You know that. But I listened to what he said. And you know what? Maybe Donald Trump could have changed my mind through this whole 1 year if he would have done some of the things he promised that he would have done. You don't go and get a bunch of groceries, bacon, eggs, you know, even at the cereal, honey bunches of oats. Do a whole press conference while you're campaigning about you're going to be the one that bring down the price of groceries, right? Those cereals, if many of us seen them, you grow up, a lot of kids didn't get to have honey bunches of oats. You weren't that, you know, because some people don't get to eat the name brand stuff. So you go on TV, show a bunch of name brand products and tell them, I'm going to bring the price of all this down if you vote for me. You get into office and you're not doing any of those things. But guess what you are doing? You're trying to go after Canada and make it the 51st state. No one asked you to do that. You're going into Venezuela. No one asked you to do that. You're dropping boom booms on Iran. No one asked you to do that. You're slapping tariffs on the American people. No one asked you to do that. You're trying to get Greenland. No one asked you to do any of these things that you're doing. Do the things you said you were supposed to do. You're supposed to make healthcare affordable. You're not doing that. You're giving Argentina money. No one asked you to do that. Oh, Zeus, it's a currency swap. Well, currency swap me. Do a currency swap with me. How about that? You won't do it. You were supposed to release the Epstein files. You weren't supposed to go around and try to indict James Comey and Letitia James, Don Lemon. No one asked you to do these things. Yeah, he said he was going to end the conflict between Russia and Ukraine in 24 hours. No one asked. You haven't done that. So, for the sake, for what it is worth, MAGA, if you do interact with me, especially because they don't come talk to me on my show because they know I'm very upset and very angry with Donald Trump for his lies and how he's got this country, do not come to me and ask me, well, Zeus, why is your platform the way that it is? It used to be a lot nicer. But unfortunately, you can't be nice with a bunch of liars, a bunch of wicked people. You just can't. You got to hold these people accountable in the best way that you can. And you know what? I try to keep it clean. But at the end of the day, I'm not no sucker. All right? Who do we got next, ladies and gentlemen? Jordan, good morning.
Good morning, Zeus. I am not a Trump voter, but can I have 30 seconds of your time?
Go for it.
Okay, and first of all, Zeus, you're a good man, and don't let anybody tell you anything different, okay? And I want you to do something. Go ahead, Zeus.
I'm listening, but there's kind of the signals going in and out. The signal's going in and out. I think there's a bit of a delay. But
all right, how about now?
Okay, what was that?
How about now? Can you hear me okay?
That's better.
Can you hear me now?
Better. Yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay, and I'm challenging you, Zeus, as well as all the MAGA voters to look at something. The press asked him the other day, what did he think about the Clintons going to the, what is the thing that they go to? Congress, okay, to speak about the E-files, right? What did he say? He hates the Clintons, right? They are crooked. They all of this and that and the other. Zeus, did you see what he said? He likes the Clintons, okay? Did you see that? He likes the Clintons now. And Hillary was one of the better debaters that he had. So why is he doing that, Zeus? Because he knows that the Clinton has a lot of stuff on him, okay? So he's backtracking. So MAGA, I challenge all of you to look at that. So if all of a sudden they were that bad, now they are his friends. Now Hillary is a good debater. That tells you something right there. And let me tell you the second thing, Zeus, and this is for Mama Zeus, and she'll appreciate this. The word says, the Bible says, when you turn away from good, okay, and doing all that's good, God will turn this nation into a reprobate mind where right is wrong and wrong is right. Can't you see that happening, Zeus?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're right.
Can't you see it? Can't you see it happening?
You're saying a reprobate mind. They got a reprobate mind, and what we're seeing is we're trying to be gaslit into believing evil is good and good is evil.
Yes, absolutely, Zeus. And Mama Zeus can appreciate that. And I'm telling you, Zeus, until we turn away from our wicked ways, God will not heal this land.
Amen.
So that's the two things I wanted to say, Zeus. And I wake up every morning looking to hear your show, man, because you are real. You're a good man. You have a good, genuine heart. And listen, let me tell you what, brother, I got your back.
No one's perfect. All right.
No, you're not. No.
But I try. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that.
Yes, Zeus. But I'll keep following you, buddy. And I will keep praying for you, man. Okay?
Amen. I gotta say, brother, thank you. That means a lot, right? Because this is all I want people to do is just use your brains, all right, and really stand up for what's right in the spaces that you're in, all right. And if you do that, I believe we would be way better off as a country, right?
Thank you, Zeus. Thanks for
All
your
right.
time. Thanks for your time.
All right. W. Jordan, ladies and gentlemen. Nope. Lies detected. You see that, ladies and gentlemen? And so that's an example of us having just a regular conversation. Did you hear any animosity? Did you hear any arguing back and forth? No, because you can't move forward with people unless both folks are in agreement, right? And that comes right out of the survival scroll. And what we're struggling with right now in this nation is a lot of the so-called Christians, they do not have the ability to do that. They cannot acknowledge simple things, right? Simple things like Donald Trump is a well-known, well-documented liar. All right, moving it along. All right, who do we got this morning? All right, good morning, Spicy. Welcome to the show. How can I help you? Spicy, are you there? Well, Spicy, it looks to me like we are having connection issues. All right, so we'll move on to the next panelist. All right, good morning. Who do we have here? Hero.
Hey, it's been a while, Zeus. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm doing all right, man. Hey, you got anybody got a copy of the Constitution they can send to Donald Trump? Because it doesn't. I don't think he understands.
Yeah.
Well, they have to read it to him because we know he can't read.
He can't read that well, right? But you don't believe Donald Trump is. It sounds like you don't believe he's upholding the Constitution.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's violating in every way, and he's pushing the limits. But the thing about it is, I don't want to. I want Mike Johnson to do his job and quit being a coward.
Amen. Amen.
Because we all see what's going on. We don't. The thing about it is, nobody's going to tell me what's right and what's wrong. I know what's in these streets is wrong.
Yeah.
They know what's wrong. And then you gonna call yourself a Christian? What Jesus are they following? Because the Bible that I read is you supposed to take care of the foreigner that's in your land. So where in the Bible does it say that we supposed to cage people? Because if you love Jesus, you don't supposed to be caging nobody.
Amen.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong somewhere, Bruce? Am I off? Because because I know the Jesus that I know and that loves me cares for the widows and orphans.
Yeah.
He cares about our daily life. I've never seen. Yeah, I mean, where are they falling off the boat? Because I think there's only supposed to be one God. Is that what you heard, Zeus?
That's what I've heard. But
I mean, where you read? I mean,
they shouldn't have any other God before him, so to speak, right?
So then, why are we making a two-legged man that's going to return to dust a God?
Do you
they need to answer that question? Christians, if they call themselves,
they know that they're doing that?
Huh?
Do you think they know that that's what they're doing? A lot of these people who...
Zeus, let me tell you, people know right from wrong. Because if your heart, what it is a heart issue. And if your heart, you say you love God, but the thing about it is they let bitterness and resentment get to them because they have not got over the issue. And I hate to bring it. Yeah, I know people. I like to deal with stuff. I don't like to throw stuff underneath the rug. Until this country deals with the fact that it is it built on racism and Jim Crow. This country will never heal. You got to deal with the root issues. And when you bring up people, and the thing about it is when people say, "Oh, it ain't no race," no. You got to deal with it. Take the Band-Aid off and quit putting a Band-Aid on this stuff and let's heal this and heal the wound. Or it will never heal because the people will perish for lack of knowledge.
That part. There you go. Hero, you speaking that truth this morning.
And that's all. And Zeus, until this country faces what really is, and they face the fact that, hey, they put a man in that they could have had let's put it this way, we could have been not dealing with this, but being that we got to deal with it, if he would do what is right,
and
know to do what's right, and quit grifting, He's got to quit grifting because
Yeah.
we know we see it. He's
Yeah.
stealing. I mean,
Yeah.
let's call it what it is. He's
He's
grifting
the
and
one that's
stealing.
grifting and stealing money from his voters. All right, he's the one robbing the
Exactly.
nation. Right, we see it.
Exactly. And yeah, you got to call it for what it is. He's not lowering grocery practices. Tariffs is not working. Let's call it
Nope.
what it is. The economy is not great.
Nope.
It was great. It's not going in the right direction because and another thing, and then I got to go.
All right.
He need to quit telling these people that manufacturing is coming back to the USA. It's not. That's dead and gone. And they need to live with that. There's
Amen.
nothing coming back here.
Nothing. Tell him, hero.
Jesus. I mean, learn. They need to go sit down. They need to sit down and read a book and educate themselves and quit accepting lies.
Yeah. Amen.
Well, Zeus, that's all I got. You have a blessed day, my brother.
All right, keep up the good work.
All right.
No lies detected. See that, ladies and gentlemen? It's really not that. It's really not that difficult, ladies and gentlemen, to tell the truth and shame the devil. Alrighty then. Let's see. He's coming to apologize.
Apologize for what?
What makes you want to come back here?
Just to see how your day's going.
Okay. Didn't your wife tell you not to?
No, she never said that. She never said that. See, that's you again twisting what was said. So.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
So how's everything else going?
Okay. All right. You know how everything else is going? I'll show you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's Tiny Tank.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
This is what I'm saying. This is a good example. We're running a show. People are coming up here, right? Testifying, telling the truth, engaging in actual things that are happening. And he's up here looking for a date. I'm not interested, dude. You need to focus on your real life situation. I'm telling you right now, you're in deep, deep trouble. All right. It's not going to be long before you find yourself on the other side of that door. All right. And the dog is going to be looking at you going, I told you so. W, sis. It really doesn't take long, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, tell him, Jim. Orlando, good morning. Uh-oh. I guess Orlando, you made it, but you were, I don't know. I didn't want to put your business on TikTok. Good morning, Nutty. Welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome.
How are you today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. You?
I'm doing great.
Nice.
I'm doing great. I'm just curious. Why is it that we can't come together as one, as U.S. citizens, to call evil evil and good good? Can anyone answer that?
Let's ask the audience. Are there Trump voters out there that can answer my good friend Nutty's question? Look at this. Asler's back. Oh my gosh. I'm surprised Asler hasn't been deported.
I'm waiting.
Yeah.
So what's up, brother? Good morning.
You're not our brother.
This is going to be
You're
interesting.
not doing the will. You're not doing the will. Are you still in the United States?
So I got a news for you, bro.
Are you in the? Hold on. Are you still in the United States?
Yeah, here in Houston. You know me. $1.99 gas prices. I know you don't like Donald Trump had the prices low, but yeah, it's okay. It's $1.99.
Okay, so can you answer Nutty's question?
We can get together because Democrats, they live in Narnia, different country. They don't accept $1.99 gas. It's because Donald Trump promised and Donald Trump delivered. That's why we can get together, brother.
Okay. right, Nutty, is that a
You know,
satisfactory answer, Nutty?
it's interesting because I was just in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I was just in Houston, and now, granted, Houston is a big city. Houston is a big city, and no, I didn't go to every gas station in the city of Houston, but the average gas price that I found in Houston, and I covered some territory in Houston. The average gas price in Houston was $2.50. So, Asler, where was your $1.99?
Bro,
That's
I
the
got
dollar strike.
Hey, Zeus, I got a gas
And I'm not saying he didn't
1
get
minute
gas.
from here. You want me to
Zeus?
go right now?
Hey, yeah, I do want you to go. But Zeus, I'm not saying
All right.
he did not get gas
All
for
right,
$1.99. What
give
I'm
me 1
saying
minute.
is,
Give me 1 minute.
Okay,
Hold on.
right.
Give me 1 minute. I'll be talking in 1 minute. I'll be right back.
Okay, all right, yeah. Okay,
yeah,
ladies and
but what
gentlemen,
I'm saying is that the average gas price is around $2.50. And
Wow,
I didn't see any gas below $2.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Now, is it possible? Is it possible that he has, a card from buying groceries and getting points and getting certain amount of cents off of gas? That's possible.
Yeah.
That because that is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But to get up here and just say, we're winning because I got gas for $1.99. Are we really winning?
Nope.
When people are unaliving on our streets, are we really winning?
No.
When we have children locked up being malnutritions, I don't know if you saw the latest video from Congresswoman Crockett talking about little Liam.
Oh.
She talked about the fact that, yes, she's happy that little Liam is out of detention along with his dad.
Yeah.
But there are hundreds more that we don't know their names that are there.
That's
she
the scary
called
part.
out. Now, here's the thing, Zeus. Congresswoman Crockett, she is the government because she's a congresswoman.
Yeah.
And she said, point blank, the government is lying to you. Because that facility that little Liam was in, the government lied and said that the average person has been there only 28 days.
Wow.
That's what they said.
Wow.
But she also said that she, along with her staff, along with Congressman Joaquin, they didn't speak to anyone who had been there less than 30 days.
Wow.
Now, the last time I checked, Zeus, 28 was less than 30.
Yeah.
They didn't come across anyone that had been there less than 30. In fact, she talked about a mother of 6. Well, she said a family of 5. She has a family of 6, but she has 5 kids.
Wow.
Who has been detained for 8 months. For 8 months, Zeus.
Wow. This is ungodly.
This is the reality that we're living in. Whether or not you believe somebody is illegal, that's one thing. But to treat them inhumane is another. Whether somebody has papers or not doesn't give us the right to treat them like zoo animals. At the end of the day, we're talking about human beings. And that should lead us to do the right thing every time.
That part.
I don't know why that is so hard to understand. And when I asked my original question, Jim wrote into the comments to me, Isaiah 5:20. And thank you for that reminder, because my question, scripture answered my question very clearly. And the prophet warns, it says, woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who puts darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Thank you for that reminder, Jim.
Jim, let's go.
Thank you for that reminder. Because what is the one thing you keep hearing, Zeus, when people get on your panel? This is a Christian nation. This nation was founded on Christian. Isn't that what you hear all the time?
All the time.
Then if that's the case, let's just say they're right. Let's just say they're right, even though we know that they're dead wrong.
Yeah.
We need to start reminding them of Isaiah 5:20.
Yeah.
Of Isaiah. Well, and I can give you 300 other scriptures going against them. And we know that they don't care. Because here's the deal. In order for them to understand what Isaiah 5:20 says, they actually have to pick up the book and read it.
Do they know how to read? They don't know how to read.
The very people who was talking about Christianity are the very ones that don't know what Christianity is all about.
Wow.
Because it really is simple. Loving thy neighbor.
Facts.
Feeding the hungry.
Do they know what this stuff is? Do they know how to be decent people? I
No,
think
they
know
don't.
how to be decent people.
No, they don't. And the unmitigated gall to think that voting for someone like Donald Trump is going to get them into the kingdom of heaven. It might get them into the kingdom of Zeus, but it will not get them into the kingdom of heaven.
Hey, man, now there you go. And honestly, they're not getting into the kingdom of Zeus, Nutty. I'm going to be honest with you. They can come and look from a distance, but they won't be able to get in because none of us, we're not going to accept these demons. I can't.
I'm sick and tired of what? Being sick and tired.
Right.
I'm sick and tired of seeing people being mistreated just because they look different from us.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of seeing people being unalived in our streets at the hands of our government.
Facts.
Do you all not understand how important it is for us to stand up against fascism?
Amen. Go ahead, Nutty. We're standing up.
Listen, I guess I'm just so into this because I have a personal connection with fighting fascism, having a grandfather who fought the Germans. Why he decided to do that, I don't know, because he did it for a country that didn't love him back. He did it for a country that still doesn't accept his offspring or his descendants. Because here I am, a 52-year-old grandchild of his, and I still have to deal with the same BS that he had to put up with. Maybe not at the levels he had to put up with it, but the fact that I have to put up with it at all is just indescribable. It's horrible. It's nasty.
Thank you.
Nobody should have to deal with this crap.
Thank you.
Legal or otherwise.
Nutty's not lying, ladies and gentlemen. Not one lie told.
So, I'm going to get out of here.
All right, bro. Well, keep up the good work, all right?
But I just, I got to give my Black History facts.
Go ahead. Yes, we need that.
Because, you know what? That's going to trigger them more than anything else. So, the first, in 1983, because they don't like when we talk about the 1800s, so we got to bring it to more times.
Yeah.
Gwen, it's pronounced Gwen, but it's spelled Guion. Bluford was the first black man, or first African American, just happened to be a man, to go to space. We know that Dr. Mae Jameson was the first black female to go in 1992. But Gwen Bluford was the first black person to go into space in 1983. Wow. And I'm just going to drop one more fact, because power to the people. And you'll understand why I say that. Shirley Chisholm was elected to Congress in 1968 as the first black woman in Congress in 1968. So power to the people. And y'all just remember, we're only as good as we allow.
Amen.
We are only as good as we allow. And if we keep allowing this administration, this regime, to do what it's doing, and people like Asler to have a voice, then we're no better than them.
Amen. Amen.
Take care of yourself and each other.
All righty then. No lies detected. See that? As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we just have an abundance of truth, and I love it when there's so many honest and truthful people coming and just really delivering the great news. All right, good morning, Blade Runner. Blade Runner.
Yeah.
I have to go over there. I gotta go over there and hit.
That's a W, sis. I don't know what that was. Oh my goodness, Blade Runner, knock it off, knock it off. Oh my goodness. All right, moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on. Who do we got next? Who do we got next? Let's see. Yeah, where is the $1.99 gas? Did you go get the gas, Asler? Did you get the gas? I want to see it. Asler, where did you go? Show me the screenshot, or show me you at the gas station. Because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, if he if he was brave enough to go to the gas station, I want to see if we had that much power. But Asler, seriously, where's he at? Oh, maybe ICE got him. Oh, okay, there he is. There he is. No, because listen, if he comes up here and he drove in the car to go get the gas, he at least deserves an opportunity to prove to us all that he got the gas at $1.99. Asler, come on up here. Oh, Asler, I sent you an invite. Asler didn't want to come up. You didn't want to come up, Asler? See? See how I caught you? You thought you were going to call my bluff, but I called your bluff, huh? So what I'll do is this, Asler. Nutty asked you, very simply, what is it going to take for us to come together? And you gave us the answer, which was $1.99 gas. No, give you 5 minutes now. You were supposed to go. Now if I give you another 5 minutes, you're going to say give you 10 minutes. If I give you 10, you're going to say give you 20 minutes. Asler, nobody believes you, bro. We get it. You're scared to go outside because you're afraid ICE might get you. It's plain and simple. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's just like what I did with Tiny Tank Top Tim. These characters, I'm telling you, they embarrass themselves. They embarrass their communities. But they don't mind it when we do it. Join me in warming up the lake of fire. This is Asler lying about $1.99 gas. But he's too afraid to go get it because he's afraid that ICE is going to come get him because he knows he's from Venezuela and that Donald Trump doesn't like that. Join me in sending Asler straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
Does anyone think I was being too mean to Asler? Does anyone think that I was being too mean to Asler? Because if so, I just wanted to see maybe why you think that. Because as far as I'm concerned, we can't have people coming up here wasting our valuable time. Good morning, ladies. Who do we got right here? Good morning, Doc. How are you doing, Dr. Keisha? How are you doing? Welcome to the show. Welcome. Oh, my goodness. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Just another day in the kingdom, tending to the affairs as usual.
Yeah.
Wow. So nice to have you. Gentlemen, please
Thank
behave
you.
down there. Gentlemen, behave, please, because you know what they like to
Crazy.
do. Yeah.
Listen, yesterday was crazy because I went. Let me take off my earpiece. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you actually a lot better without.
Yeah. It was the earpiece. So I went into a live yesterday, and there was a blagger there. And yeah, she said she was a nurse. I was over. She said she was a nurse.
Really?
So
Was she really a nurse, or is she just a TikTok nurse?
It was really bad. This is what I'm concerned, because I don't know if you guys knew there was an Operation Nightingale where they had they're cracking down on a bunch of fake nursing degrees of people that were practicing nursing that weren't. And it's either that, it sounds very much like that, or it sounds like she's not a nurse. Because for someone to be a nurse, good morning, Cedric, and to take patients into your hand, and she was saying that she didn't immunize. So by the way, she's putting her hands on your loved ones, and she doesn't believe in the vaccine. She believes Trump did a great job with the pandemic. And she argued with me about the vaccine safety and about what the virus can do to the body. Because she said that masking and crazy. It was a crazy. She might be in Houston. She might be in Texas.
It froze a second.
Yeah,
But
it is a requirement. She was arguing that she was arguing that she didn't need to do that. Yeah, she was saying that she did not need to immunize. By the way,
wow.
She got an exemption, but she wouldn't say what her exemption. So it's another thing. She probably got a doctor, somebody to sign off and lie about what she could do. Yeah.
Wow. So what's the lesson in this? Because it seems to me like we got a lot of people giving out bad medical advice and pretending to be people they're not on this app, huh?
I'm going to tell you guys something. Like if somebody comes up with an avatar, Tiny Tank Tom Tim, or comes with scrubs, a lot of doctors, we don't have to wear scrubs to purport we're a physician. And they ask, or you ask them, what is your specialty? And they lie and they get defensive. I'm not going to tell you what my specialty is. Then you
they
don't
don't want
have
to
to
get
listen to
doxxed.
it.
They say they don't want to get doxxed. Remember, that's their excuse.
No, it's the duty of a physician to share what they do in their practice. You should be able to Google them.
Amen.
Because you're getting into a realm now where you're giving advice, where you're coming from a sense of notoriety, a sense of professionalism and expertise.
Yeah.
And if you can't find out where that expertise comes from, you don't need to trust them. You don't. Yeah.
Wow.
And go ahead.
No. I'm saying thank you for giving us that medical advice because we need that. There's a lot of folks out there.
Look up ask for their NPI number or ask for their medical degree. Also, by the way, the Atia is his name, the doctor that's in the files.
In the e-files?
Yeah.
Oh,
so you guys didn't know about Peter. Yeah.
I heard. There's something else to this that you want to share.
Oh, well, listen. You know, I did a video a while ago where I was dancing and saying they're not like us. And that's when conservative Democrat had to come on my comments instead of saying he liked it, that he needed me to answer his questions.
Right.
That post. So you know, Casey Means never finished residency, right? And so she's not a practicing physician. She doesn't have a board certification. Neither does Dr. Peter.
Oh, wow.
Dr. Peter, would you find it weird if you went through medical school, you're in the middle of residency, and you all of a sudden just leave? And I want you guys to understand.
Why would a person do that? That's kind of weird, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So listen, medical school, you can get a medical doctorate, MD. That they should not be practicing on you because all they've done is went through medical school, is they went through a couple of 2 years of rotations, but they're actually not practicing. When you get your specialty training in your residency, for me, it's pathology, which was 6 years, 5 years, and 6, so that's 10 years. And you have to get approved. There are people that, not all doctors are like us. There are people that should not be in medicine. And so if they don't make it through the residency, they don't pass their board certifications, and they don't have a state license, they're not a practicing doctor. Wow. So Dr. Peter and Dr. Casey both left the profession, but want to use the accolades of saying they're a said doctor that they're not.
Unbelievable.
Clearly there were red flags and they knew they weren't going to make it through. And so they do it. And so he's, over this $1 billion, billion dollar company, and he's not anything. His emails were very problematic. I hope you know that, sis.
Yeah, I did see some of them now. And it's really unfortunate, honestly, that these people that you look at their title and you tend to think they're very respectable, right? And then you find out everything that you're saying. It does give you pause, and it makes you wonder, how do you go and find a doctor or someone that you can actually trust?
Yeah, well, you can't trust them on TikTok. I mean, unless they're me, the medical collective, then that's something.
There you go, Doc. There you go. Because you can't. A lot of people are pretending to be something, honestly, that they're not, and it's sickening.
For what? To me, to be honest, yesterday was Women Physicians Day. It's Black History Month. I'm talking about Black doctors all month long.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that people want to say they're a doctor or a nurse and not the responsibility goes with it. When a patient's crashing, you see what RFK Jr. did when the guy passed out during the conference.
He didn't do anything.
He went the other way.
Yeah.
So that shows you truly they want a title or to say that they are a healthcare expert, and they know nothing about it. When a lab goes down, when a patient's crashing, or when you get brought forth for a patient unalivement, it's the doctor whose degree's on the line. So that's why we come on here with actual true knowledge and expertise. Davey, pathology is now 4 years, but when I started it was 5, and that's because most pathologists are double board certified from the beginning. We are anatomic certified, meaning that we diagnose cancer. We're in the laboratory. If you get a biopsy, y'all, if you get a prostate biopsy, a colon biopsy, Zeus, when you're of the age to do your colonoscopy, it comes to the lab. If you need blood banking, infectious disease, molecular testing, all of that goes to the lab. So I'm clinical certified. That's 2. And then I'm cytopath certified. That's 3. That's an additional year.
Cytopath certified. Listen, W, Dr. Keisha. So the main goal here is folks got to be certified in order to talk about things that are tied to the medical community, because I don't know. I didn't know there's a group of people out here that you can actually grift with this, just faking it. I mean, people are that.
Well, you know what to expect. You know what, Peter? I want to talk about him again because, he was on actually a company computer at work with his own letterhead when he sent this stuff to Epstein. Yeah. His own letterhead,
so
saying,
work.
Female parts are carb free and stuff like that, and new shipments. And he was saying the new shipment was about a medicine when the medicine was not even talked about in the email, things like that. So he's purporting that, but he's purporting to be a longevity. Anyone that says longevity, health, just like general terms that get you guys right, clean the uni and stuff, Yoni, it's.
It's sick that they talk like that, though. I'm gonna be honest, Doc. It's sick. I mean, those files and what they've been saying, and it really does make it hard for me to actually trust people with titles, especially considering the titles of the people that are in those files. But like you said,
he's not an imposter, Zeta. What he did was he did not finish residency. He decided he was going to go to a company that would hire him and say, "I'm a doctor." Right? And companies, he's not working for a hospital. He cannot treat patients legally because he does not have a board certification. To work in a hospital or reputable institution, like when I worked for Baylor, you have to be board certified. I had to complete my boards before I could finish working. Yeah, you have to pass the board.
Wow.
It's a hot mess. But let me tell you something else that's sad. Measles.
How are they doing? Are we bringing the cases down, or are they
2 detention centers? 2 ICE detention facilities have them now.
Oh, wow!
And that really pisses me off. Yeah, because they're already not taking care of these individuals in these centers, and now they've got measles running rampant. Now it would be interesting though, because a lot of these guards, people in the centers, maybe they believe in health and got their immunizations, but a lot of the guards and stuff don't. So good luck, and they don't wear a mask. So Zeus, maybe they'll get measles too.
oh my gosh! You know what? And that's rightfully so. They deserve it, right? W, Dr. Keisha. Because when you do evil things to people, then to a certain degree you have to expect some sort of consequence for doing that. And this is what we're seeing, right? I mean, they're not exempt. They're not above reproach, so to speak. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And then one more sad thing, Dr. Sharon, I don't know if you read this. I was just reading. This is also this misinformation of RFK Jr., people following him, following Trump, who clearly is not even in good health himself, so I don't know about longevity, is that an individual decided to drink raw milk. She got listeria, which is a bacteria, and her infant passed away. So we're really about the kids. These are preventable things.
Well, he did a whole press conference, I believe, about milk. You know what I mean? You remember that? And
the whole milk now, Y'all go right ahead and drink whole milk. And when you have to see a heart specialist, a cardiologist, instead go, it's Heart Health Month too. Go to him instead. Go set an appointment with RFK Jr.
Wow. How do you get raw milk? I'm just curious. I've never been interested.
Oh, they're actually, in the midst of it, when we were having more issues with raw milk and bird flu, some states were pushing to get it legislated, because you're technically not, but there are states that do allow it. And so that's
buy directly from a farm? Is that what people are doing? They'll go to the farm and
just get it? I drink oat milk.
But how do you find raw milk? I mean, I'm not saying
straight from the cows, right? Yeah, they sell it. They sell in pasteurized milk.
Anyone selling raw milk out there?
Sweetie, I'm with you. I don't drink animal milk. Mm-hmm.
You got to be. I've heard a lot of things. I mean, they do the ivermectin. Now they're drinking the raw milk. Do they cook the eggs, or is it okay to just do that raw too? I mean, this is crazy stuff. These folks and they believe this is going to give them longevity when they do these things.
They believe it's longevity.
That's why I said
organisms.
It goes back to what I've been telling them. A lot of these Trump voters are not going to be around here, especially when it comes time to vote again in midterms, because they're listening to the wrong person. This is sad. This is some sad stuff.
It is really sad.
Yeah.
And, all I can tell you all is to stay safe. I just hope that they do more about these centers and the lack of care that people are getting.
Yeah.
Measles is also at Florida University just had a case.
Jeez.
So we already knew Florida. You already knew Florida was going to do it.
Wow.
South Carolina, by the way, I know they're over 1,000, I think now.
Wow.
In that area. Yeah, they were at 800 last week when I looked. You know, that was like double, triple. It was like 200, 300, 400, 800 measles.
Well, you know, you get what you vote for, right? Remember when they used to say, this is what we voted for? I guess they voted for measles. Isn't that something?
Yeah. But if you travel abroad, Nipah virus, it's only 2 cases. But
I've heard about the Nipah.
Yeah, I did a post on it. So if y'all can go and look at the Nipah virus, share and like and comment on that post. There is 2 cases recently. It's been around since the 90s, but the concern is that there's no treatment and no immunization for it. And they're doing what they're supposed to do, which means, first of all, it comes from bats, but they think that the healthcare workers were treating a patient.
Bats?
Yeah, they were
Here we
treating
go
a
again
patient.
with the bats.
What about the bats?
Because that's what they said, C-19 started with the bats. Didn't they say that, in China?
Yeah.
They went to a wet market or something like that.
Yeah.
And could you please do me a favor, everyone, especially MAGA? Stay away from the bats, all right?
Well, it's not just that. So it's also, if it gets into food and stuff like that, people handling the food would have you get it. But the problem is that it has a 45 to 70% fatality rate. It's like up with Ebola. 45 to 70%.
45%.
Yeah.
Give me a
So
break.
Malaysia, a lot of the areas in India are their airports are already doing tracing similar to they did coronavirus.
I've never seen
So
this. Wow, yeah, this is crazy.
yeah, if you're
5%.
traveling over there, be careful.
Yeah, that's deadly stuff right there. That's deadly stuff, and you know what? I won't be doing any of that stuff. All right, but Well, listen, Doc, we're gonna get up out of here, all right? And it was a pleasure
Thank you.
to check in with you, ladies and gentlemen.
It's Black History Month. I'm leaving. I'm gonna do like Nettie and leave with the Black History fact.
Oh, you got
that Dr. Charles Drew. Check out 2 episodes we did last year, the same time with his daughter Sylvia Drew. She was a civil rights attorney, by the way. But Dr. Charles Drew, for any of you that have never ever needed blood, been in a situation anemic, he developed the ability to preserve blood products so that he could take them to the troops during World War II. But Dr. Charles Drew, he was a fair-skinned Black person, but he was Black, y'all. He was told he could not donate his own blood. We will take your experiment. We will take your knowledge. We will take you on the front lines, but make sure that you separate all the Black blood that's donated and yours, because we're not giving it to the troops, but we'll take your invention.
Wow.
Red Cross has supported that. That's why he eventually just had to step back from it, because he was not going to get into, the drama of this. But he actually mixed the blood, by the way, y'all. His daughter told us, he was like, they ain't going to tell me that. So he took the Black blood and mixed it with the white blood. Not mixing the blood products, but he unlabeled it so that people that needed the blood could get it.
Yeah.
Right? But to this day, his family has no inheritance from that.
Wow. Robin.
That's another thing too, Black people. We need to protect our rights. We need to protect our property.
They always stealing from folks.
Yeah.
They're always stealing from
Always
folks.
stealing.
And you know what they'll say? They'll say, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You ever heard them say that? But then basically, you do things like that. You pull yourself up by your bootstrap. They turn around and they rob you.
Yeah.
And then they turn around and blame you for all the other problems going on in America. It's truly disgusting, Doctor.
It's true. It truly is. Yeah. But I want to go to that. Dr. Charles Drew, listen to that. And all y'all got to do, y'all, is go over to the Tube of You and follow the Medical Collective. Dr. Sharon's in the chat.
Dr. Sharon.
That's all we ask. The gifts are fine. Somebody donated, went to medical-collective.net, a website, and there's a donation thing for it, because I do have a producer. I make sure they look good. The videos look good. They're not our TikTok lives. But if you support in any way, if you share, if you subscribe, Hector got us up to over 311 subscribers on TubeReview.
Wow.
Apple Podcasts is where we're really seeing the viewership and listenership. So it goes a long way, y'all, because I'm trying to get Jasmine Crockett on next. I'm trying to get us on journalists and speaking. Dr. Sharon's amazing, Dr. Leslie, all of us. So
thank you.
It helps
Well, you
with y'all
deserve it.
support and pushing it out. All right?
Thank you, Doc. You deserve the support. And Jasmine Crockett, if you're listening, please come together with Dr. Keisha Davis. All right, seriously, Dr. Sharon, because there's amazing work that needs to be done, and only you can help. All right,
And remember, fake nurses and fake doctors exist on TikTok. If you ask somebody their credentials or it's not adding up, the math is not mathing.
Yeah,
don't believe them. They're
Don't
not a
believe
doctor.
them.
They're a factor. FAUX.
Oh my God! New lingo alert! Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Keisha Davis. Bye. No lies detected. Thank you, Doc. Oh my God. Dr. Sharon. Well, thank you. I mean, no, it's not me, it's her. But you can go ahead and give the Rizzler a round of applause. Yeah, all right. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen. What an amazing show. I gotta say, it's been incredible to watch. We've literally, we've watched the wheel of MAGA snap like a twig, so to speak. And you can just see it right now, ladies and gentlemen. These Trump voters, they know the end is near. And they don't want they do not want to face accountability, ladies and gentlemen. And so I want to give all of you a huge round of applause. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. All right, but I want to give a special thank you, honestly, to the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists. Because without you, this show wouldn't be what it is. Oh, hold on. Who do we have here? Jim, you got something to say? You want to say real quick?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm always inspired by Dr. Keisha and Dr. Sharon, the Medical Collective. You know that.
Yes.
I want people to do themselves a favor. Not only follow them, but do your research, because there's a page called the Officer Down Memorial page. That's Officer Down Memorial page, odmp.com. Go look at that page. The greatest loss of life to law enforcement in this country was COVID-19.
Oh.
Let me repeat that. The greatest loss of life in the line of duty for law enforcement was COVID-19 because they ignored the science. They not only caught it, they spread it all over their departments, they spread it all over to their families, and they spread it all over to the people incarcerated that they had housed. And so the reason I'm coming up is because this is in particular for ICE agents. So make sure you Google how most ICE agents have lost their lives in the line of duty, because I will assure you it's not from immigrants. It's not from violent immigrants. It is not from violent crime. Most ICE agents died in the line of duty from C-19. You don't have to believe me. You can Google it yourself. Officer Down Memorial page, but you can also just Google how many ICE agents have been harmed in the line of duty by immigrants. And you're going to find out that more immigrants have been unalived by ICE agents than the alternative, because none have been harmed by immigrants. None. In the last year, 32 people have died in the hands of ICE agents, and that is the greatest number that has happened in years. And so this is imperative that people start listening to actual facts and data and not believing the loud mouths, the people who want to spread misinformation, the people that want to teach you to hate and fear immigrants. The otherisms has to stop. It is okay to follow actual law and order. And if somebody has committed a crime, if somebody has done something that requires law enforcement to be on the ground and doing their job, then they're going to do it the right way. And when ICE agents actually do targeted investigations, they do so using surveillance. I know that's a big word, but they use surveillance, which means they get the information and then they surveil the location that they believe that immigrant is, and they watch and they prepare, and then they make the targeted arrest. That's how it's supposed to go. And you can argue that till the cows come home, but I'm pretty sure somebody named Tom Homan just publicly did a press conference about just that, didn't they?
Yes, he just did. Yes, he
They
did.
did. But that's not what they're doing. They're
Yeah.
casting a wide net. They're grabbing anyone that looks and sounds like Asler. And then what they do is they pull them all in, and then they realize that there's American citizens caught in that net. And then they disappear them. They relocate them across state lines to places where their families don't know where they are.
Yeah.
And it takes weeks, months, and a lot of trauma to get them back, harming these citizens, harming these migrants that have proper visas, harming people who have gone through the actual asylum process. And I want to remind people to think about the way Trump talks. When he talks about they're sending us their crazies, they're releasing all the crazy people out into the public and sending them to the United States, I'm pretty sure he believes that asylum, he thinks it's like an institution. The word asylum literally means seeking safety. It means safety, y'all. And the fact that the leader of the free world does not comprehend anything about what he talks about should scare every single American citizen. You should not be listening to this group of people that are trying to make you believe something that's not valid. It's not functional. It's not enforcing the law, and it's certainly not following the Constitution of the United States. Because first they come for them, then they come for you.
Exactly.
And you better start recognizing that if they're allowed to violate every other person's constitutional rights, then you're going to be next. There'll be something that they throw at you, because once you break the law to enforce the law, you are nothing but a criminal.
Amen. Amen. All right, Jim.
Love you.
Love you too. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give the beautiful Jim a huge round of applause. No lies detected. In and out. Just like a burger. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Just gotta get up out of here. Thank you. We've already done the thank yous again. Thank you, everyone. But on a serious note, we got to give one last round of booze and shame, because like I was saying, we've literally snapped the wheel of MAGA, and it's been as a result of all of you, and we're going to continue to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them one last round of, you guessed it, booze and shame.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Have a great rest of your morning.
Gotta wait to chain get injected with some power, pull some strings, and level up like a king. Came from the trenches, now we ballin' at the top. There's no energy in presidential, watch the ops. Drip too saucy, got the fit, hitting real different. 1600 on the throne, out here looking brilliant. No excuses, I'm the ghost for sharper than a blade. For attacks, make these clowns pay for all the shade. Bustin' moves, no mid, got the game in a choke. Yeeted the doubt, now my legacy hitting is bespoke. From the Bay PVC, I keep you on their toes. Level up with the blueprint, watch the empire grow. Those with all the fakes, now my circle, moving 100 in, this race is all the run. Bet I'm dripping, got the power, vision crystal clear. Thick with ambition, yeah, making history right here. Ops talking wild, but they cannot touch the throne. Posted in the Oval Office, strapping in the zone. Past the heat, got my foot on the gas. I'm bulletproof, yeah, my aura is built to last. Slack with the pen, moving chest, not checklist. Presidential flex, got my king on the necklace. Level up, we taking over the spot. Get you clean, get it poppin', we ain't gon' never stop. No cap, we lit, yeah. Flow on 1,000, 160, 105. Presidential, we found it all. Posted in the Capitol, moving like I own the block. Riz game, presidential, got the nation in the lock. Got the amateur, yeah, 100, no facade. Drip celestial, shining brighter than the star. Better calling shots, got the vision, HD, click, clap, with the news, turn the dreams into chandeliers. Stay lurking, but they folding under all the pressure. 1600, I'm the one flexing. and I'm the new successor. Back in legacy, bricks, every bar's a new crown. True soul in the White House, DC is the town. Woke up in the mansion, views from the East Wing. Prime presidential, residential, got the poles in the fun. No cap, I'm the vibe, Pentagon in the storm. Got the globe, dropping bombs like I'm reading out a song. Bricks, but the code is unbreakable. Stevie through the storm, legacy unshakable. Rolling through the air, got the city in my grip. Getting real close, make the whole world flip. Busting off the charts, got the game in a trance. Drip too weighty, yeah, make you wanna dance. Level up, we taking over the spot. Drip too clean, yeah, poppin', we ain't gonna never stop. No cappy lid, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 100, 1600, 5 presidential, we found it all.